Hey guys, Sean Zine, the Connection Machine, and the host for the Network Marketing Insider, where I bring on guests that are involved in network marketing, affiliate marketing, multi-level. I've had guests that were involved with crypto. They created their own tokens on the Algorand blockchain because they have to follow and use skills that affiliate marketers use. And now I'm actually adding to our little mix is school owners, and they're sharing their trials and tribulations, their what works for them, some strategies, because I've found that people are joining, but they're also quitting. And I want to help those that are quitting have an idea of how to become successful by listening to what we're talking about. If you're watching us on YouTube or the website, subscribe to the channel, hit like, comment where you're watching from. Very simple, right? And then share the video. Hit that share button. Put it on social media for us. We want to help more people. If you're listening to the audio version, give us a review at the end. And as always, go to the description and have a connection call with my guests. Follow them on social media, making sure that you will, something might resonate and you're going to start working with them because you found a connection. So without further ado, let me bring on my next guest. We have Laila. What's up, Laila?
Hey, Sean, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Great.
I like that background. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to make it a bit of a more chill, environment, not too serious, right? Just having a little bit of fun.
That's what it's all about. Just having fun, talking, providing value, and people gain information, and hopefully they're going to use that information. Now, I always ask my guests, who are you, and why did you start working with Skool?
Hey, that's a great question. So, of course, I'm Laila, and I've been an HR leader for the past 15 years. So, a lot of leadership development. I did a business degree, and I majored in entrepreneurship. And I feel like I've had a lack of support and guidance around me. So, I've decided, you know what? Building a startup, building a business, it takes a lot of work. It takes connection. It takes people around you. You can't do it alone, right? You cannot do this alone. So I've decided if I can create a group that's like-minded, that I feel like I belong and I can get the support. And that's where I started Skool recently. It's Empowered Women in Business, where we're connecting women around the world and teaching and supporting each other, sharing tools, resources, challenges, what's going well, what's not going well. And it's a space where I feel like I can belong, I can show up as myself, and there's no judgment, and people are just here to give them your support, guidance, and advice, and you can ask questions in a safe environment. And that's, I think, the most important part. And that's a bit about me.
I hit that mute button. Oh my gosh. I love that word entrepreneurship. And I know a lot of schools in the US don't really talk about that. They're all about go to college. Some of them talk about go to trade schools. But being an entrepreneur, how do we help people understand that better and have a better, reason to go down that path?
That's a good question. So the way I became an entrepreneur is when I went to get my business degree, it actually was a project-based degree in entrepreneurship. So I was hands-on basically in an incubator. So anybody can learn the skill. So even if you went to get a trade, but you haven't taught how to make it as a business, because it's a skill you can still sell. So having these incubators, as much as these communities, can help you become this entrepreneur, develop the entrepreneurial mindset. You have the skills, but how can I transfer my skills into building a business? And that's where entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial mindset comes into play, and communities and support. Because you're right, when we go to school, it's like you follow the curriculum, you do your exams, and you get your piece of paper at the end, your diploma, your degree. It's like, okay, go out in the world and get a job. But nobody trains you or teach you. It's like, what if I want to build a business or open a business? Which direction do I go? So I would love to see in the closer future that maybe that's implemented in programs for the next generation, that with the change of market and all these challenges going on, there's much more layoffs than hiring going on. How about we build our next entrepreneur, which are future leaders, creating and building businesses and helping your communities and creating jobs. We need those entrepreneurs to create jobs.
I found also, if you're an entrepreneur, you're You're working for yourself, but you wake up every day without a paycheck, no guaranteed paycheck. You basically have nothing. You work from zero every day. And that's tough for some people. Some people have to be told what to do constantly. But then I always tell people, hey, you can have your 9 to 5 job, but you can become an entrepreneur on part-time. You can have a side hustle. That's where you might be able to focus on your passion while you're still doing your 9 to 5 and not have to worry about the pressure of paying bills because you're like, oh my God, I have no paycheck coming in. There's different facets back and forth that people talk about. But that's the mindset, though. You have to understand that before you get into it.
So true. And I think that's a valid point, Sean, of that 9 to 5. Not everybody has to quit everything and just go and start a business, right? Because there's a reality of basic things about fixed cost. Your fixed cost just as yourself. You got to have a roof on your head. You got to eat. You got to pay your bills, right? For somebody to expect to start a business and become successful overnight, it's a myth, right? It takes patience. It takes time. And you iterate a lot throughout building the business by testing your market, testing your service or product. There's going to be a lot of work, and it can take up to 5 years to really be able to have a full-time business that you can actually live from it. So to quitting, I think that's a great point and a great idea to keep that 9 to 5 until you feel like, you know what, I can actually do this full time because now I'm generating enough income. So it reduces the stress and pressure of not having no income, and you're a bit more at ease as mindset to be like, okay, I'm going to build it in a sustainable manner. I'm not going to build it quick to make a quick buck and then it's going to fall apart. So I totally agree with you on that.
But Laila, I don't have 5 years to wait to make good money. That's what everyone says, right? They're very impatient. They want it now. Oh, I signed up for this course or this workshop or this webinar. I went to this event and they said I'm going to make this much money and I gave money in to get started, but I'm not where I want to be because it takes time. You're planting seeds for the future when you're working today. But people are all about, if just like weight loss too, right? People they want to lose all this weight, but they gain the weight. It took them years to gain it. And they want it off in like a couple months, which is impossible health-wise. Same thing with business. You have to set foundations to be successful. What are some foundations people should be focused on in your eyes?
Well, the basic grounds is like, what kind of business do I want? Am I selling a service or product? If it's a product, you want to do an MVP, a minimum viable product. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you got to test your product to see if the market is going to want it. You want to price it right. Does it need to be changed? Does it need to be improved? Right? But that takes time. It can take a couple weeks to a couple months, right? So these are all the things that require some time. And if you offer a service, a consulting or whatever it is that it's a one-on-one or you're offering a service to somebody, well, you got to build that website. You got to find the content. How am I going to sell this? How am I going to offer it? How do I offer my service, price it right, test the market as well? Because you got to test. Is this going to resonate with the right audience? Who's your market demographic, your age group? There's just so many research and research part of building the business that you will realize I was catering to 25, 35, but then 6 months down the line, I realized actually my service or my product resonate more for 40 plus. And these are things that will somewhat delay that, overnight success because it's new. It doesn't exist. You're building it as you go. So you have to be able to also take that feedback, because that feedback is not criticism, is valuable insight for you to improve and develop your business in a way that is going to work out and resonate for your audience.
A lot of people today will try to do a brick and mortar business, and it costs lots of money for a brick and mortar business. You got to pay for your rent, your all electricity, all, maybe the supplies, the product, whatever you're doing, it costs a lot of money. And then we find Skool. And Skool, you have an option of $9 or $99. And to have a business that you can actually have affiliates and you can have recurring income is so powerful in the convenience of your home. Can you talk about what made you get into Skool? What was the, aha moment about it?
Well, it was I was looking for community, which was really important to be surrounded by people that somewhere in the same place as myself and that want to build and grow and develop a business and do something that uh, they want to build something, and as well as the opportunity to be able to actually reach out to a wider and bigger audience that you would if you would have a physical location, right? It's very different. You connect with different people around the world, you learn from others, and it's actually a very powerful the amount of discussions and things that we talk about that really somewhat sometimes will just spark this idea, or it's just like, oh, you know what, I never thought about doing it this way. So you're really learning as you go as well to build those communities, which inside you can sell your services and through that eventually sell products and things like that. So you have different level of courses that you can also, if your service, you can sell those services like done kind of training or coaching a one-on-one. And I'm still building it. It's still fairly new, and I'm very excited about it because it's actually people are actually it's very welcoming, and people are excited about it. They want to hear more. They want to learn more. They want to grow more. So I'm still in the work in progress, I would say.
And it's something that you are trying. A lot of people don't want to try different things. They always say, and I've had this conversation with others, what happens if it doesn't work? But I like to say, what happens if it does work? What happens if you can just, take this to the next level? Everything scales. You have people coming in, but there's other ways of, for example, that people have trouble with is generating traffic to their school. What are ways that you're generating traffic?
Okay, so, well, same thing as like you're building something new, so things will take time. First, you got to build authority and trust. You're coming out of nowhere, people don't know you. Why would I sign up and join your group? What are you offering? What are you bringing? What is your value? What's your value proposition that is going to be beneficial for me to join? So that's where your landing page is important to really be somewhat brief enough, but not too much that it gives what you believe your audience and what you're looking for and what they would benefit with. So you got to work a little bit on that. And like anything else, you got to promote all your social media, your LinkedIn, your TikTok, your YouTube, your Instagram. I recently joined Substack, so I'm writing articles there and I'm generating. It's a bit of a slow progress because also Skool is somewhat a new platform as well, right? So some of the comments, people's like, well, I mean, I don't want to join because it's not Facebook, but like Facebook is no longer like that's not what people are looking for, right? So this is the thing about those early adopters, right? There's like, hey, I can see the value. I see the future with it. And some people are stuck, and I'll now say this, are fixed in a fixed mindset. And some have that growth mindset. So to take somebody from fixed to growth, they also have to make those little steps to be like, I have to do something different to grow. So that's what I'm trying to promote as Skool as well, is that's what it is new, but it's worth it. Because if you get it on now, then the benefits will be even greater because somewhat at a starting point here.
Just like those that are involved with doing video. If you're doing video and you're tagging Skool, like hashtag Skool community, Skool podcasts, Skool earning on Skool, different things like that, the more you're putting your videos out there a year from now, 2 years from now, when you are being, the momentum's there are people randomly going to find it because they're searching Skool. Your videos are popping up. And if you're educating, talking about it like we are right now, that's what's going to help others stick around or pique that interest to be like, oh, I should check this out. I've heard about it. And these two are talking about it. And it's a positive experience. You get to control your algorithm. It's not like Facebook that's throwing stuff at you constantly. You're swiping. You actually have to do some kind of work, and that's why others don't want to get involved. Oh, I have to drop meaningful comments? Because if you come in and all you do is just emojis, or you just say, ha, 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 like every single time, they're going to get rid of you because that's not meaningful. That's wasting people's time. Giving criticism, be careful with, but giving some promotion, giving some, maybe a question, answer a poll that might be someone has. Get involved. It gives that community, keeps it alive.
Totally, I agree, and it's like that's why they build it that way because people are tired of the Facebook, Instagram, like all this, It's not for everybody. We're in a different place now where people want to feel like we've lost that sense of village and community with all that happened with COVID and everything. So people are in a different place. It's like, hey, you know what? I want to connect with real people and I want to have those real conversations. And the beauty of this is like you're growing in a way that you didn't expect. So when I started a couple weeks ago, okay, I didn't expect to get reach out like, hey, would you like to write an article? I have a business magazine to write an article. I would love to get your background in leadership development, HR, business, because you have the background. I was like, wow, that came from school, right? As well as I podcasts like this one here, right? It just happened because we had some great conversations and other features, and there's more coming that I wasn't expected. So I don't want to say anything yet, but I will when I finalize everything. But I was just like, wow, the power of Skool has taken me in like 3-4 months more than I've done the 3, 5, 4, 5, 6 years that I've accomplished by myself.
I agree with you. And like I've never created a lot of courses in my past. And since July, I was playing around with some courses, nothing. I didn't have a community yet. December 14th, I created a course, a welcome course. I created a couple of one on video, one on recruiting, one on connections. And I'm like, wow. And I look at like what I've been developing. I've been doing video since 2018, but to now actually sit down and educate and have a place that is all housed, and then people can digest it and then interact inside your community. It's so powerful. And having those opportunities, what I want to applaud you is you are open to trying things. A lot of people say, oh, I'm so new. I don't have the knowledge yet. Everyone has knowledge. It's just now you're taking an opportunity. You seize the opportunity whenever you can. Anytime someone has a podcast, I'm like, I want to be on it because it's able to get into another ecosystem that we're merging, and it can open up. You just need one person to come into your community that knows a whole lot of people, and your community like goes like that because you impress them. That's what you want to do.
It's so true, and I do agree with that with you. Like totally, and also I'm in my yes year, so that's what I decided when 2026 kicked in, because 2025 was a very challenging year, and I decided, you know what, this year I'm just gonna say yes to whatever comes that resonates with me, that makes sense, that is positive, and it brings something that I'm gonna be enjoying. I'm not doing it for generating. I'm going with like, I'm making choices that are more intentional, right? Like I'm enjoying it. I feel like I can contribute to others. I can support others. There's a value. It feels much more rewarding to feel that somebody's like, hey, thank you so much. It really helped. It's like, wow, way more than getting a paycheck. Mind me, I still need to work, right? I got to pay my bills if I want a place to live, but you know what I mean, right? Like there's that community, that leadership, that experience, that sharing with others, that you really see the growth. And it's actually quicker than I would say in the workplace when Laila comes in your in your office. You're like, well, we have a meeting of labor relation issues or leadership development. It's a very different conversation because Skool community gives me the freedom to choose and pick what I want to contribute, what I want to talk about. And some people would resonate with what you say and say, you know what, I want to hear more about that. So there's also these great places where you can actually share your knowledge and expertise, and people are welcoming because they want to learn. And that's also the beauty of it. There's a choice as well. You have some passive people that come in and they still do the emojis and everything, and they will complain that they're not growing, but they're not doing the work, right? Nothing happens magically. I wish, but you know what I mean?
But like, wait, we don't have a magic 8-ball and they flip a switch and things change your whole lifestyle. No, we gotta. But I also enjoy the process. I know I'm heading toward that massive success on Skool, but I enjoy what I'm doing now. I'm in the moment. I'm focused. I'm enjoying connecting with other people and helping others. And here's a question for you. Thinking about when you first started with Skool compared to now, how much time have you been using on Skool today compared to when you first started?
Quite a bit, because when I joined, like I was really in communities that were very engaging. And the one that weren't engaging, I wouldn't engage because they're like, I don't know what kind of members they're in, but some members are just in and they don't engage. But quite honestly, well, that's probably why I did realize one day I was like, oh, 30-day strike and you get a flame. And I was like, what does that even mean? The algorithm was telling me, well, the algorithm, the system itself was like, well, Laila, you contributed a lot the past little while. I was like, I've contributed that much for 30 days straight, like real good contribution. That tells me that I really was enjoying it so much that I didn't realize I was doing it. So to be honest, I can't say, but it was so far. It's been really engaging since the beginning, and I choose to be like I say, my yes here. I was like, if that's how the process is, that's how they operate. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna do it 100% that I can to my abilities, and I want to be really experience this to the fullest.
It's funny you said the flame. A lot of people are shooting for trying to get that flame, and the flame is not difficult to get. It's 10 actions, most of the time, say 10 comments a day for 30 days. And people say, I don't have that much time. Here's some value for those that are watching. If you drop a post and you have lots of engagements, and it's your post and you have a lot of engagement, all those engagements go as your points. So if you have something that you share and you get people talking about it, and you have all these comments and likes, 10 is easy. People say, well, how do you do so much? I'm averaging over 100, if not close to 150 per day. And I have a full-time job. I'm a full-time teacher. And people are like, wait, how do you have that many actions? I'm like, because it's a habit now. It's a discipline. I'm using this to grow a business, and I know I want to be successful with this. It takes work. But there's people say, well, what happens if you're in a hospital? You're in a hospital, you're in a bed. If you're unconscious, you can't be on Skool. I get it. But if you're in there, you can get on and do whatever, because you're probably killing time anyway. You might also be able to engage and talk and figure out some things as you're in the hospital, if that's the case. I know friends that had the flu and they're still. Did you have the flu? Someone I keep forgetting.
Yes, it was. I was actually. I ended up. I shouldn't be proud of this, but I ended up in emergency. I've had a bit of because I've been running the past few years on a high level, long hours, flying a lot. It was and my body eventually gave in, literally. Right. But then what got me through it was my community, because I was stuck in bed with fever, not feeling well, and not feeling good about myself. Like, how did I ended up here? And talking to my fellow community members and leaders is like, Laila, you got to take care of yourself. And, and then I actually, for some reason, that's probably where I posted the most. And that's how a flame came up. I was like, wow, it just because I had so much time on my hand and I was sick. And I was like, you know what, might as well do something that just to get me, out of that. And it was actually, that's where I learned a lot. That's how I got the most opportunities that came my way for some reason. And I would say as well is I wasn't chasing anything. I was just really meaningfully making contributions. I personally don't believe in gamification for myself, because I want to be able to contribute that makes sense, not just because I'm going to get rewarded by a flame or a rocket or whatnot, because it's really about trusting the process, open to be learning, whatever pace you are, but you're trusting the process and you're learning and you're contributing. And I think that's what's most important. Sometimes I think when you chase too many rewards, you're not doing it always for the right reason. And you might miss really great opportunities of discussions, community contributions, and just because you're chasing something. You can do it a little bit of both, but you have to have a bit of a balance, if that makes sense.
Yes, I agree. You have to have balance. You have to know when to shut things down. That's why, I'll be honest, I have ChatGPT, right? Everyone should be using ChatGPT. I have the free version. Can I afford the $20? Yeah, sure. But the free version, what does it do? It shuts me off if I hit a limit. And that's where, it says, I hit a limit. Can't be on here until 1 a.m. I'm going to be sleeping. I'm not going to be working. It's fine. It gives me a little timeout, gives me that balance, forces me to be in the moment with something else, because I love it. It could be addicting, but if you're not like you were saying, if you're just an emoji person, or if you're just doing it for, I know there's some groups that give out tokens. Oh, I earn tokens. I'm a top earner in another community, and I get 100 of his doing what you know tokens, right? How easy every day I put a quote, a quote in his community, and people engage it, and I end up having all these points because I have engagement, and I win it a past number of weeks, and I'm like, I don't do this for the tokens. I do this to get more engagement, to have people reach out to me in DMs, to build a relationship. That's where you're going to have the power. If you're in this to try to make money, the money's going to come. Building relationships is where you have to stay as far as that foundation.
You know what? I think that's a valid point. Building relationship, and that's one of the most important thing when you build something, especially when you build in business. People will buy from somebody they know and they trust. So that trusting relationship that you build are probably more important than anything else you can build around you, because these are the people that are going to say, you know what, I talked with Sean, he helped me out, he was so great, he gave me some good advice and pointers, and when I'm going to need, or they need a service, like, you know what, I'm going to go to somebody I know that they give me value and I trust them because what they gave me really worked out for me. So they're going to reach out and say, I trust this person, right? So building that authority and those relationships in business are probably the most important, unless you come from a wealthy family and you're a multi-millionaire or billionaire and you get all this. But really, it's all about trusting relationships, right? It's like, if let's say you're in a jam and it's like, okay, I have my client, he's one of my best clients and I can't attend to them, but I'm supposed to do this. And you have a counterpart or somebody from your community that does exactly what you do, you can actually have, and they might able to collaborate with you and help you out and say, you know what, yeah, I'll do it for you, no problem. I'll help you out. You know what I mean? So there's that sense of community to help each other out too, by having those relationships, and trusting relationships is probably the most important thing I would say to anybody who's building anything. That should be your priority before anything else.
I definitely agree on that. And I know having conversations like we're having with video, if you're in a room, maybe a live inside someone's community, like we've been involved in, and how powerful is that? What was the last one you were on a live? What did you gain from it? Why should someone show up to a live that's in someone's community?
So actually, like meeting other people and talking about hearing their experience, how to get the engagement, how they to get to grow the community and everything. And I was like, wait a minute, that like having those honest, safe, it's a safe place for you to have these honest conversation, ask questions without judgment. And people are super open to share, whatever it is like that they're experiencing, that you experience, and how we can help each other out. And from that conversation, my Canadian Woman in Business, initially when I started, it came to somewhat a bit too niche. And I just rebranded as of yesterday to create my community to be more open, because I experienced talking with people located in different countries, different regions, and it was so much more powerful than connecting somebody in my backyard. And I thought, you know what? I think that would be actually more beneficial for my community if they would have that level of connection and access to people around the world as well. So I rebranded because of this discussion to Empowered Women in Business that I just did like yesterday, and I'm talking about it today. And I'm testing something new because I listened and I took the feedback and I said, why not try it?
Why not? That's what I always say too. And I like that. Yes, year, definitely, try as much as you can, get involved as much as you can. Now, I like this time of the episode is, what are some final thoughts that you can share for those that are opening up a school and having some challenges? What are like maybe 3 tips you might be able to share with them to help them become a little bit streamlined?
That's actually a good question. Well, first I would say, don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun, right? Just go in, try to build, like have fun, enjoy the process. Definitely connect with others, take the feedback, listen to other people say, they're sharing their experience. That can help you build or grow your community as well. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Super important. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because somebody will have experienced something somewhere that they might have an answer for that said, you know what, I've been there exactly where you are, and these are the things I did, and this is how this is what happened, and that was the outcome, and things change in such a positive way.
Well done. Well said. I definitely, those that are just popping in now, shame on you for missing us, but wait until the uploads. You can get from the beginning. I want to thank everyone for being with us. You had lots of value from Laila. I want to remind everyone, go into the description, have a connection call with her, learn more about her, find out, maybe it resonates with what she's doing. And it would be great to get inside her community. You could follow her across all socials. Make sure you go to her link and join. Check it out and definitely engage. And Laila, I appreciate you being with us today. And I want you to stick around for a moment later.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Everyone else, as always, I'm here to help, motivate, and inspire. Have yourself an amazing rest of your day.